For thousands of years, the deserts and valleys of the Nile have kept a secret of a kingdom older than memory and greater than legend. Most of us have heard the stories of Egypt, of pharaohs, pyramids, and the Nile's gift of life. But south of Egypt, beyond the first cataract of the Nile, there once flourished another civilization, powerful, wealthy, and proud. This was Nubia, the forgotten kingdom that ruled the lands of gold, stood toe-to-toe with Egypt, and for a time, became Egypt itself. Today, we journey deep into the heart of ancient Africa to uncover the story of the Nubians, the people who built empires in the sands, forged iron in the deserts, and carved pyramids that still stand under the burning sun. This is the story of the Lost Kingdom of Nubia. Nubia lay along the southern reaches of the Nile River, in what is today northern Sudan and southern Egypt. Its land was harsh, vast stretches of desert pierced by rocky hills and narrow valleys where the Nile carved its ancient path. But where there was water, there was life. And along the riverbanks, Nubian farmers grew wheat, barley, and dates. They traded gold and ivory, ebony and incense, the treasures of inner Africa, with their northern neighbors, the Egyptians. The Egyptians called this land Ta Seti, the land of the bow, for its archers were famed across the ancient world. The Nubians were tall, skilled warriors, known for their precision with the bow and their discipline in battle. To Egypt, Nubia was both a partner and a prize, a land of resources, a gate to the riches of Africa, and a rival kingdom just beyond their southern frontier. But long before Egyptian armies marched south, Nubia had already built a civilization of its own. Around 2500 BCE, as Egypt's old kingdom was constructing its mighty pyramids, another power rose upriver, the Kingdom of Kerma, centered around the city of Kerma. This Nubian kingdom became one of the earliest urban centers in sub-Saharan Africa. Archaeologists have uncovered massive mud brick structures known as defufas, towering temples that stood at the heart of the city. Kerma's rulers were wealthy and powerful, commanding trade between Central Africa and Egypt. Gold, ivory, leopard skins, and exotic animals flowed north, while Egyptian grain and crafted goods came south. But Kerma's strength also made it dangerous. For centuries, Egypt saw it as both ally and enemy. In times of weakness, Egypt traded and intermarried. In times of strength, it sent armies to subdue it. By around 1500 BCE, Egypt's pharaoh Thutmose I invaded Nubia, destroying Kerma's power and bringing much of its land under Egyptian rule. But even as Egypt claimed victory, the spirit of Nubia did not die. It endured, waiting for the day it would rise again. For nearly 500 years, Nubia was ruled by Egyptian governors. Temples were built to Egyptian gods, hieroglyphs appeared on stone, and Nubian elites adopted Egyptian customs. Yet beneath the surface, Nubian culture remained alive. The people continued their traditions, their language, and their pride in their land. Over time, as Egypt's own power waned, torn by civil war and foreign invasions, Nubia began to reassert itself. By 1000 BCE, Egypt's grasp had weakened. Out of the shadows of history, a new Nubian kingdom emerged. Its capital was Napata, near the sacred mountain of Jebel Barkal, a place the Egyptians had long considered holy. Here, Nubia reclaimed its identity and prepared to challenge its former master. In the 8th century BCE, the Nubian king Paye looked north to a divided Egypt, torn into warring states. He saw opportunity. Marching his army down the Nile, Paye conquered the delta and reunited Egypt under his rule. For the first time in history, a Nubian king wore the crown of the pharaohs. Paye and his successors founded Egypt's 25th dynasty, a line of rulers who brought stability and religious revival to a fractured land. They restored temples, revived ancient rituals, and saw themselves as protectors of Egyptian tradition. To many Egyptians, they were foreign conquerors. To others, they were the saviors of Egypt's soul. Pharaohs like Shabaka, Shabitku, and Taharka ruled both Nubia and Egypt, a combined kingdom stretching more than 1,000 kilometers along the Nile. Taharka, in particular, became legendary, a warrior king who resisted the growing power of the Assyrian Empire. Under his reign, Egypt and Nubia stood united and strong. But the Assyrians, armed with iron and ruthless ambition, eventually drove the Nubians back to their homeland. Still, the dream of empire had left its mark. For nearly a century, Africa had ruled Egypt, and the memory of the Black Pharaohs endured long after they were gone. As Egypt fell under new rulers, Persians, Greeks, and later Romans, Nubia turned inward and thrived on its own terms. Its capital moved south to Meroe, a lush city surrounded by acacia forests and iron-rich soil. Here, the Nubians built a new civilization, one distinct from Egypt, but shaped by centuries of exchange. They mastered ironworking, becoming one of the earliest centers of iron production in Africa. Smoke from their furnaces darkened the skies above the city, a sign of industrial power unknown elsewhere at the time. The rulers of Meroe built hundreds of pyramids, smaller and steeper than those of Egypt, but no less majestic. And unlike the male-dominated dynasties of the north, Meroe was ruled at times by powerful queens, the Candaces, or Candaces. These warrior queens led armies, signed treaties, and defended their kingdom with fierce independence. One Candac famously fought off an invasion by the Roman Emperor Augustus, striking peace on her own terms. In art and culture, Meroe flourished. The people spoke their own language written in the Meroitic script, one of the oldest written languages in Africa. To this day, much of it remains undeciphered, a mystery of a lost tongue, but all kingdoms eventually fade. Trade routes shifted, droughts came, and internal strife weakened Meroe's power. By the 4th century CE, a new power, the Kingdom of Aksum in modern Ethiopia, rose in the east. Aksumite armies conquered Meroe, ending over 2,000 years of Nubian civilization. The pyramids were left to the sands. The cities fell silent, and for centuries the story of Nubia was forgotten, buried beneath the desert, overshadowed by the grandeur of Egypt. In the 19th century, European explorers rediscovered the ruins of Nubia. They found the remains of Kerma, Napata, and Meroe, vast cities, temples, and pyramids, their histories carved in stone. Archaeologists soon realized that the history of the Nile could not be told by Egypt alone. To understand Africa's past, they had to look south, to Nubia. Today, the pyramids of Meroe still rise from the desert, smaller but no less haunting than those of Giza. Their sandstone walls whisper of forgotten queens, black pharaohs, and the ancient kingdom that once ruled the Nile. The story of Nubia is more than a lost chapter of African history. It is a reminder that civilization is not bound to one land or one people. It grows wherever human ambition, creativity, and spirit find room to flourish. For thousands of years, the Nubians built, fought, ruled, and dreamed. They left behind monuments to endurance, proof that greatness often lies in the shadows of memory, waiting to be rediscovered. So the next time you think of the ancient world, of pyramids and pharaohs, remember Nubia. For before Egypt rose, Nubia stood, and long after Egypt fell, Nubia endured.